What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild from the fallout of the 2023 NFL Draft. And usually it pains me to do any other team in the NFC East, but I've been thinking in terms of what video have I been sitting around wanting to record. This one was near the top of the list, and that is rebuilding the New York Giants after their pretty dang good 2023 NFL Draft. A draft that saw them add one of the better interior linemen in the draft class in John Michael Schmitz. A draft class that saw them add one of the best deep threats in the draft out of Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt. It's going to be interesting to see how he fits into that wide receiver room. It's a little bit crowded of mid to okay. And I say mid, not disrespectingly. They're solid players. But, I really do feel like it's anybody's game, and they are about 6 deep for any of those guys to take the step up to be a wide receiver one. They made the big trade to get Darren Waller, which, we're not going to act like I'm an Eagles fan for this video, but I think that is slightly an overhyped move, given what Darren Waller's done the last couple of years with Vegas. He's kind of, I just feel like you're very optimistic that Darren Waller, it's like Eagles fans with Rashad Penny. Right? Eagles fans think we get Rashad Penny, he's going to be ridiculous. We're going to get all the flashes that he had in Seattle, and he's finally going to stay healthy with us. When the reality is, that's probably not going to be the case. Same with DeAndre Swift. Those guys just can't stay healthy. And I feel like, you can be optimistic. Sure, I mean, if they do stay healthy, they're going to be pretty good. But will they? Probably unlikely. I think the same's kind of said with Darren Waller. Darren Waller has looked a little bit washed, but maybe a change in environment, and if he could stay healthy, you can get back to a guy that plays like a top 5 tight end. But is that most likely scenario of what happens with Darren Waller in New York? Probably not. But for this rebuild, we'll definitely take that because we are a team that is hurting at the skill position spots. Now, I did have to sim the first season to get to this point, and the only thing that I've done that hasn't really happened with the Giants, which if I was rebuilding the Giants, would do right away, I paid Saquon Barkley. Whatever the contract was, it was like a 5-year deal. It pay the guy. I know you don't pay running backs. When your running back is this good and still in his prime, I think this is the perfect time to pay a running back. Pay a running back right now, and you get him for 25, 26, 27, 20. You get 4 out of those 5 years that I signed him for are still going to be his prime. The issue, I think, when it comes to paying running backs, and I'm not against paying running backs. I know that's like a faux pas of roster building. But I think it's when you get the running backs that are looking for a contract and they're like 27 years old. 27, 28 years old. Because, that drop-off at 30 is a legitimate thing. It's proven. You can look at all the analytics. But when you're talking to a running back that's 24, 25, looking for 4 or 5 year contract extension, hey, man, why not? Especially when they're as good and they're as integral to your offense as Saquon Barkley is. Pay Saquon. On the defensive side, yep. We got Superstar X Factor in Dex Lawrence, who's an absolute monster. Rest of the front 3, we got Leonard Williams, who's solid but fairly expensive. If I'm looking at this from a roster building standpoint, definitely want to, cheapen up in some specific areas. They got Deontay Banks, very athletic corner in the first round out of Maryland, 6'2", height, weight, speed off the charts. And we're going to have him start on the outside. I think our corner room is going to be him. And they got Aruarie coming from the Lions. And we're going to have Adoree Jackson in the slot, likely. I mean, also, we could go Jackson and Banks on the outside and put Darnay Holmes in the slot. He's a little bit younger. We'll figure it out. They got Bobby Okereke, or Okereke. I like Okereke when Pat McAfee announced him at the draft. Awesome pickup from the Indianapolis Colts. A really, really solid linebacker. Xavier McKinney is nice. Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari are upside pass rushers. Obviously, Thibodeau a little bit more hyped up. He's a pretty good player. Started out his career fairly solidly for the Giants. And I think all in all, man, this is just a very interesting rebuild because we haven't even mentioned the most polarizing spot, and that is Daniel Jones. We gave him the guarantee of his new contract. Essentially, Daniel Jones' new contract is 2 years with an out at the 3rd season. That's what we did for his $160 million. So he basically has 2 years to prove that he's the guy, and we're going to be moving on. He's 26 years old. The stats for Daniel Jones is like one of those guys that I think he'd be like if I made a Giants franchise, or if I did a fantasy draft franchise and I ended up getting Daniel Jones as my quarterback, I think he'd be kind of fun to user. Great athleticism, 89 speed, 89 acceleration. Even though he's a little bit of a meme when it comes to his scrambling ability, his most iconic runs are him tripping on the grass. But, then you look at the other things. I mean, 87 throw power kind of sucks, but the accuracy's not that bad. You got the 90 short accuracy. you know, I think he's a better user quarterback than he will be a sim quarterback, but we're going to play it out, man. We're going to give him an honest-to-God opportunity here over the next 2 seasons to prove that he can be the guy, and then if not, we got to find someone that can bring this Giants another Super Bowl trophy. But without further ado, let's get into year 1 of this 5-year rebuild on our path to secure another Super Bowl title. All right, we're coming in here. I got 3 breakouts headlined by Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, Xavier McKinney, and Wan'Dale Robinson, I think. There was a wide receiver. All have potential breakouts. In the battle for New York, give me 1. I got 3. I'm not going to be greedy. Give me one of those devs to hit. And I think if I had a personal preference, it would be Daniel Jones. But up first, all right, we didn't get it for our wide receiver, which kind of stinks. And because Madden is just bugged, we never even get to see who that was. All right, this is for Xavier McKinney, and we did not hit on that dev trade, which sucks. That would have been nice. I would have brought him up to a superstar dev, but come on, we won 39-36. For Daniel Jones to get off normal dev, he would have had to be like, just not got any of those freaking points. What? But I'm almost 40 points and my quarterback can't get off to a star dev? Brutal. And, I mean, he didn't play, I don't know, 268, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I think he needed 3. Brutal. About the midway point of view, 1-5-4, only a game back of the Commanders in the division, which is not a bad start, because I pretty much figure any year that we're competitive with Danny Dimes, we can rock and roll with that. We're just outside a top 10 offense, just outside a top 20 defense. I feel like the defense underperforming just a little bit, but I think we can eventually get all that working and firing on all cylinders. So again, for the re-signing, the only thing that's different from than in real life is we already paid Saquon Barkley, because, come on, kind of need to do that. Looking at our available free agents, I've been a big Darnay Holmes fan since he was at UCLA. I would like to keep him in the building, all things considered. So let's see if we can offer him a 3-year, $13 million deal, get him locked in. He is our starting nickel. Xavier McKinney, he's had a bunch of dev trait scenarios pop between the first year that I simmed to get to our starting point and this season. He's already had the 1. So I feel like he is just asking to become a superstar safety. I want to gamble on that. We're going to give him a 5-year deal. Adoree Jackson looking for 3 years. That's about the right price point for the rest of his prime, because really after 30 he's going to start to regress. So I have no problem. 3 years, $26 million for Adoree Jackson. Now it's, you know, all right. Got some tough calls. I mean, going down here, we have Tyree Phillips, who's obviously a lot better in Madden than he is in real life because he has the dev trait. We could probably move on there. I'm not seeing a lot of guys that we have to re-sign. Maybe if Owarie has a really big year production-wise. He's also looking for a 2-year deal, so we can keep him till he's 29. We have so much depth at wide receiver. We're not really going to rely on Paris Campbell. Same with Sterling Shepard. I just feel like 3 years at 30, he's going to be, what, like a 74 by the time that contract closes out. And we got Leonard Williams. I mean, is he playing well? Is the production there to justify a 3-year contract? He's on 8 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. That's not bad, but we'll wait and see. Like, I'd feel a lot better if he got, you know, something in line with that season where he had 11 sacks. I'm not going to completely write off re-signing Leonard Williams. I do want to see how he finishes this year, though. At the end of year number 1, we finished out better, like top 10 offense, which is what Brian Daboll is expected to do. However, we were last place in an uber competitive NFC East, 9-8. We probably should have won week 18. That was a 3-win Rams team going into that matchup to have 10. But yeah, everyone was kind of good, and we were the worst of the kind of good. So, you know, not exactly what we're looking for. Daniel Jones, top 10 in passing yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. That's reasonable. Not good, not really bad. I'd say reasonable, all things considered. We don't really have a prolific wide receiver number 1 outside of really Darren Waller. 1,400 yards, 21 touchdowns for Saquon Barkley. Ridiculous. We got 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns for the rookie Jalen Hyde. That could bode well. He's just a normal dev, but if that could propel him into Offensive Rookie of the Year conversation, that'd be huge for a dev trade. Just under 1,000 for Slayton, just under 1,000 for Wan'Dale. Darren Waller with a respectable year. So I'm really happy with all those numbers. Even though we only have the 1,000-yard receiver, we're like one more big game from having potentially 4, which is really the threshold that you want to see when you have like an offense firing on all cylinders. Bobby Okereke and Xavier McKinney both go over 100 tackles on the season. 10 TFLs, 3 sacks, 2 picks for Okereke. 12.5 sacks, Dex Lawrence. 8 from Kayvon Thibodeau. 8 from Azeez Ojulari. You know, solid numbers. Definitely not the numbers I want to see out of Leonard Williams in terms of getting a contract extension, especially 3 years at that. I mean, if he's looking for a 1 year, sure, but we might be able to find someone a little bit better long-term. Interceptions, not ideal for the squad, especially not seeing rookie Deonte Banks get anything in terms of interceptions finishing the year with 74 tackles. The yearly awards MVP goes to Anthony Richardson. Okay. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Year, Anthony Richardson. Saquon at number 2. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Nick Bosa. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Anthony Richardson with Jalen Hyatt down there at number 4. So unlikely no dev traits for him, which is kind of a bummer. Saquon wins Running Back of the Year, but he's already an X Factor, so I'm not overly concerned. Dang. I don't really know. Honestly, looking at all those numbers, I don't really think we're going to have anybody outside of Saquon that had like a good enough year to go up dev trait anyways. So a little bit of a bad roll for year 1 here for the Giants because we weren't that bad. We're just in a super tough division. And looking at our dev traits on the offense, we lost the dev trait on Sterling Shepard. He's regressed down to a normal. That's maybe a big reason why we decided to move on off his contract. We did gain a superstar on Darren Waller. He was originally a star, so back up to superstar is nice. But again, I wasn't really expecting anyone. I was like, maybe Daniel Jones, but I was pushing a little bit. And on the defensive side, in terms of dev traits, both Kayvon Thibodeau and Xavier McKinney get superstar devs. That's a great roll. And we're going into free agency. There's some big names here. You know, if you were simming anything, the Giants almost always sign Jalen Hurts and go on to be unstoppable. We're not doing that here today. We're also not going to go after Nick Bosa because that's kind of unreasonable. We don't need Jonathan Taylor because we have Saquon Barkley. But we are going to try and spend a decent amount. One is Gabe Davis. That's just a match made in heaven for a team that desperately needs wide receivers. Gabe Davis from Brian Daboll's time in Buffalo seems like an easy fix. Devin White's available. I feel like him and Bobby Okereke would be awesome in the middle of our defense, and he's very reasonably contract price, whatever way you want to break it down. 8.8 mil for 4 years for the remainder of the rebuild. Not worried about it. I got John Runyon on the offensive line. He can come in and do the job at one of the guard spots. And then we got Javon Kinlaw, just throwing a flyer here on a dev trade player, getting him a 2-year contract. He would kick out to one of our defensive end spots on the other side of Dex Lawrence. We both have openings at right defensive end and left defensive end. So I figure Kinlaw there, and then maybe we look in the first, second round and get a really, really nice looking defensive tackle. But this would be quite some business here in the first window for the New York Giants. I was actually surprised. Look, even after all these contracts, we still have $76 million of available cap room. And we're able to land actually all 3 of them. And we still have plenty of money to worry about the rest of our roster over the coming 4 seasons. The target that I really want to try to land here in the first round is D-tackle Louis Gray from Notre Dame. Double A's for tackle power move, beef, finesse move, C-block shit. He's projected to go 2 picks ahead of us. So we're going to try and trade up with the Bears to move up a couple spots. Shouldn't be too expensive. Probably only cost 2nd round pick. I was able to move up 3 spots, and it didn't cost me a second. I was able to get it with a 3rd round pick this year and a 3rd round pick next year. Pleasure doing business with you. I want to be honest, I'm not... A lot of times when I make a trade up like this, I'm like, guys, this guy's going to be the best player in the draft. I don't know 100% if that is going to be the case here, but he does look really good. Athletically speaking, doesn't strike me as a guy that for sure is going to have it. Like, there's a chance he's like a 75 normal dev because he doesn't really have any elite attributes, but we're going to trust the key ratings to look very strong for the D tackle, and he does at least roll with the dev trait. Rating might take a little bit of hit, though, because he is going to be our left defensive end. To continue to build in the trenches, second round, we're going to look at Marcus Kitchens here. Great athlete at the left guard spot. No dev trait. I'm expecting a decent rating. Him on one side, John Runyon, who we landed in free agency, on the other side of John Michael Schmitz. Hey, take a look at our draft recap here. I think it's a solid draft. We got the top target that I wanted. Outside of that, I'm not too sure. Louis Gray is 77 hidden dev, so well worth shipping off a 1st round pick. And then 2 3rd round picks, like our own pick. He's going to be a left defensive end, though, so I'm expecting him to drop down to like a 74. 76, not bad. So that means he's pretty much a good scheme for us. Kitchens didn't have a dev trait, but 74 overall for a rookie is really good. But I'll be honest, after that, my draft board was not particularly good. We were able to land a 71 kicker in the 7th round, which is solid because we needed a new starter there. But honestly, not that bad of a draft, just a little light on the dev traits. Going into year 2, our roster starting to take some shape still. Big questions around, oh my God, Daniel Jones is getting regression, dude. We were like a 79 overall to end last year. I don't even think we had any boost. And look at what? Just gets 10 regression. That's at 27. He didn't even play that bad. He was like a borderline top 10 that is, I didn't even realize that. Holy shit. Okay, that's going to be, well, hopefully the likes of Gabe Davis coming in at wide receiver is going to help up. We got Kitchens, new left guard. We signed John Runyon in free agency at new right guard. So the offensive line looking pretty solid across the board. Defensively, we went out and improved. We got Gray in the first round is going to be a starting defensive end. Kinlaw on the other side of Dex Lawrence. Devin White really does complete the linebacking core. There's no real weakness in the squad. Maybe at strong safety with Dane Belton. But, you know, we weren't going to be able to fix all of our needs in one offseason. And again, this should be a roster that's very competitive for a playoff spot here in year 2. Anyway, point of view number 2, not too bad. Just right behind the Dallas Cowboys here. Let's actually sim this week 8, to see if we can gain ground on them, get to 5 wins, knock them down to 2 losses, which is exactly what we do, 30-22. But let's take a look at some contracts here for the New York Giants. $111 million, really. Can pay anybody that we need. We need to get Andrew Thomas, who's emerging as one of the best young tackles in the NFL. We'll get him locked in for 5 years. We have Azeez Ojulari. I have all intentions of keeping him and Kayvon Thibodeau as my 2 pass rushers for this rebuild. And we're able to get him done, which just actually wasn't, you know, it's kind of reasonable if he can pick up the production just a little bit. But the big question now comes with Daniel Jones. This is kind of the out of his contract. And because he can't really, you know, build out in contracts, we're gonna have to make the decision on Daniel Jones. I'm gonna give him the end of the year. If he can make us into the playoffs, we're at 5 wins right now. We will pay out the price because right now it's reasonable. But again, we all saw the regression that he suffered at the end of the regular season. And what's to prevent us paying him $60 million? Probably is what it would take because he's not very interested in re-signing anyways. And then he just loses even more ratings. So we got to tread lightly with Daniel Jones. I think we take a wait-and-see approach. And really for the rest of the guys, I think, you know, Slayton's solid, but we got a lot of younger wide receivers behind him that I think can close the gap in terms of rating. And year 4, year 5, I think that's what matters. In year 2, we finished tied for tops of the NFC East. Nice win week 18 over the Cowboys, and we set up a playoff round matchup against the Bucs with a breakout scenario, which could be cool even in a losing effort if one of our DBs can make it jump up. That'd be nice, but we have some important things to look at. First is Daniel Jones, who's playing again like a fringe top 10 quarterback, which, I mean, the question is, if that's his ceiling, is that going to be good enough to get us a Super Bowl? Is that going to be good enough to prevent him from regression? Is that going to be good enough to offer him a new contract? It's tough. We're in a really tough spot, especially when Saquon Barkley is just dominating like he is. I don't know. Gabe Davis fit in really nicely. 1,200 yards, 8 tutties. 9-6 for Wan'Dale Robinson. Darren Waller was solid. Jalen Hyatt was pretty decent. 8 touchdowns for him. Defensively, Devin White and Bobby Okereke, nice tandem in the inside of our defense. Sacks are way down, though. Real disappointing numbers. I think there's a chance we lose both the superstar Devon Thibodeau and the X Factor on Dex Lawrence with those underwhelming seasons. Dane Belton, the weak link on the defense, steps up, 73 tackles, a sack, and 3 interceptions. Looking at the yearly awards, again, we're kind of just Saquon Barkley and the rest of the team when you're looking at it. As Saquon wins Offensive Player of the Year. Looking for the individual awards. Runner-up, Gray for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Saquon is Running Back of the Year. Yeah, man, it's like the worst thing. It's like we're in rebuild purgatory. Where, like, my team is pretty good, but I don't know how good my quarterback is. I don't know how good my defensive scheme is. Like, is my scheme putting my players in the best positions to put up good numbers in the sim? Or not? Well, we got Dane Belton here, our weak link, or at least once viewed the weak link of the defense. He's on a normal dev as we meet the awesome Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team you always want to see in the NFC side of the playoffs. Oh, shit, we actually beat them 31-28, and Dane Belton does not... You know what? We could have lost, and he could have missed out on the dev. So at least we got one of them. We have a nice playoff victory under our belt, and next up we meet... Battle the 10-7 to get to find out who the best team is in the NFC East, and we fall short 28-20 of the Commanders, and maybe this game will give us a true reflection of what Daniel Jones' ceiling is. Did he play well? Did he cost our team? And he did nothing, man. Daniel Jones did nothing in the biggest game of the season. Looking at the recap here for Season 2. Well, Daniel Jones hasn't suffered too much in terms of regression, even though I think it's probably going to be that time to jump off. Look, we lost 3 throws. Yeah. I don't think it's working out, fellas. I tried. It would literally just be forcing the issue at this point. We did lose the superstar dev on Darren Waller. That probably has something to do more so with his age than it was performance, because he was pretty solid this year. Defensively, we did lose the X Factor on Dexter Lawrence, but we did gain an X Factor on Isaiah McKinney. Kayvon Thibodeau kept his superstar dev. No one else up or down. Actually, that's a lie. Javon Kinlaw lost his star dev as well. So the big loss is the X Factor Dex Lawrence, but we gained an X Factor McKinney. So it's, you know, to each their own on if you think that's good or bad or not. Cashing in something I've been wanting to do all Madden season long, and that is, you might go, whoa, C4, you got Darren Waller. Yeah, I wanted to sign Kyle Pitts in a rebuild and move him to wide receiver. That's what I'm doing here today. That's what I'm doing. You got a problem with that? Bring it up with the complaints department. I suppose just out of general curiosity, what does the rating... I don't think it's going to be that big, but he goes from a 95 tight end. We move him to wide receiver. In my brain, I'm thinking at worst, he's got to be like an 88. I only paid $50 million. Wasn't like a ridiculous contract. And he goes to 85? 86 with a boost? It's not that bad for the new journey. The next journey in the career of Kyle Pitts. We need a quarterback in the draft, and we're going to have to pay the price that it takes to get a quarterback in the draft. Luckily for us, there are 6 quarterbacks that had first-round grades. And really, I'd even say Ray Elam, who's the top quarterback. At least he's given us a top 5 talent. He's C deep accuracy, even though he's a perfect fit for our team. You know, does have the elite throw power, which is what you're looking for. But I'm not wowed. Like, sometimes you get the quarterbacks that have 4 A's in elite throw power. Like, those are the guys that you feel comfortable trading up for. Just to confirm, to make sure Elam, usually the mock draft, the last mock draft is what you can test. He is going first overall to the Colts. So we are going to have to... That's the only guy that even looks solid. So we're going to have to figure out how to get him. I mean, what's this guy? Dylan Green has at least the triple A's. What's his throw power? Just great. You know, you really... I almost want to say that elite throw power is important. I'd rather elite throw power and C deep accuracy than A deep accuracy with great. So we were able to make the deal, sending 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick to the Colts for the #1 overall selection. And what I'm going to do is, because to make this big of a jump, sometimes I make these trades and I'm picking in like the teens and stuff like that. The fact that I'm picking 25, this trade would cost 3 first-round picks. So I'm going to keep it admirable. And when we can, which would be once we start next season, I'm going to send another first-round pick to the Colts. So we are going to have no more first-round picks for the remainder of this rebuild. I love the fact that I'm doing this for a quarterback that I think just looks all right. Doesn't look generational. Doesn't look really ridiculous. Looks solid, man. You know, elite throw talent with you know, A mid, A short. Got good size to him. But not a ridiculous athlete. The deep accuracy's not perfect. We got B break sack. You know, B play action. I mean, again, you're just almost hoping at this point, you know, you get a good dev trait, but 96 throw power, you can't teach that. That's the difference. You know, great accuracy or great throw power, 91, 92. It's gonna take a lot to make that ground out, especially, you know, getting 4 or 5 throw power. Sometimes it won't happen in a whole quarterback's career. So starting at 96 works out well. Ray Elam, you are going to be the man that has to lead us to a Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest, that dev trait better be at least a superstar. That's a star, and we gave up 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick. I don't care how much throw power you got. It's going to be tough to win. Hey, look at the draft recap. 77. I suppose that would be the lowest that I'd want it to be. 76, 77 for what we had to give up. A lot is going to be riding on the dev trait, but I mean, 96 throw power, 86 mid accuracy, 86 short accuracy. The deep accuracy, which was the warning, is only 74. It could have been worse. Seen worse. 81 awareness. Not too bad. Actually, not as bad of an athlete as I thought from the combine. 81 speed, 84 acceleration, 83 change of direction. You can work with that, but we're being sold here on the throw power. Oh, man. 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick. Ray Elam. Oh, let's go! Let's go! If you know what that means. I'll pay 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick every day of the week for a quarterback with an X factor and 96 throw power. Well, we're severely underperforming here in year 3. We're a 90 overall squad and not the best. So what I have done is, with our 30th ranked defense, I've had some questions. I don't know if the Bucs defense is as good as their offense. I'm taking a swing here, though. We gotta change up something. My defense should... It's just a scheme thing. We know playbooks are everything in Madden 23. My playbook's not working, so I want to try a different 3-4 playbook. And I'm like, actually, you know what? Is Chargers maybe? I hate doing anything Bucs, even if the Bucs defense isn't cheesy, because their offense is so good. I'd rather not. So maybe we'll try the Chargers 3-4. I have had some success with that in the past. We got to get a different role here that can help this team out. I mean, there are expected to be a little bit of a learning curve anytime you have a brand new quarterback. But we're dropping, like, I think that's been twice this year. An opposing team has scored 50 points on us, which isn't great. We have $67 million available cap. Now that we are operating on a rookie contract for our quarterback, we can spend when we want. I do like Wan'Dale Robinson, so I think there's definitely a role for him on this team. We're going to offer him decent raise here. 3 years, $19.5 million. Get him locked in. Everyone else can piss off, and we're going to take that money to roll into free agency. Hopefully, though, we can go on a string of wins here and make year 3 somewhat respectable. And the end of year 3 rookie season, look at this, man. We finished with the second best offense in the NFL. Our defense, which we changed up mid-season, was pretty shit. Didn't do a damn thing, but I think for our offense to finish out this way, damn. Honestly, I knew it was a Saquon show. And look at Elam. We were getting fringe top 10 numbers. Fringe from Daniel Jones. First season, and Ray Elam goes for 5,100 yards, third down. The interceptions are a little high. Actually, I might be a little worried about that X factor with that amount of interceptions, which would be kind of brutal. Saquon was insane. 1,600 yards, 20 touchdowns. Wan'Dale was awesome. Pitts went over 1,000. Davis went over 1,000. Darren Waller, especially getting at that old man age, really, really good year. Devin White, tackle machine. We got the tackles where we need to get tackles from. Sacks, still not where I want them to be, if I'm being honest. Look at the yearly awards. Actually, you know what? If we went Offensive Rookie of the Year for our quarterback, that might prevent the regression of the depth rate because of the interceptions, which we... What? 4th? He's 4th, even though... Let me just see. Are the other quarterbacks, the quarterbacks that are ahead of us in the top 5? Let's see. We got McClain. Okay, well, there's just because he's on the Bucs. This guy was okay. I still think we got robbed here, all things considered. Look, there's a lot of good quarterbacks this year, but I think we feel pretty comfortable with ours as long as he doesn't lose that X factor. And we got to start our playoff journey running the full gauntlet against the number 2 defense in the NFL, number 2 rushing offense in the NFL, old school football. Need I say the 49ers playbook pretty much represents them in real life, and yikes. That is a tough defense to go up against in your first ever playoff game. And, you see Dallas moving on there. Yeah, I mean, we got to get our defense right. We got to get that defense right. And we had the rookie jitters. 3 interceptions for Ray Elam. Right now, I'm just hoping we can get in this offseason with him still being an X factor. So the only position we really need for free agency is a 3-4 defensive end, which doesn't really exist in this draft class, which is very unfortunate at all, really. Like, you're looking at, like, Jordan Davis is, like, the best of the bunch, clearly a nose tackle. Not really much out in the position. I did go in after Grady Jarrett on a 1-year deal, but that was a swing and a miss. And then I was like, well, you know what? We'll just use and go after in the first round for one of the top 3-4 defensive ends and or D tackles. There's got to be one, right? Except to get our X-Factor quarterback, we gave up first-round picks, and I also put a punishment onto myself that we would be trading 3 first-round picks, so it is time to pay the piper. We're going to have no first-rounders for the remainder of this rebuild. Just to make it easy, I'll take a 7th this year, which I don't think the Colts would have any issue giving up. But their payment finally due for our quarterback, which, I mean, again, X-Factor QB, worth it. Well worth it. But now we're going to find a nice 3-4 defensive end in the second round. And I'm not shitting you. Literally, I found a top 5 talent projected to go right where I'm picking, and he couldn't be any more of a 3-4 defensive. I'm getting this guy. Tell you right now, this guy, he's my diamond that I found. He's mine. Actually, I hope he's still here, because I just made this trade assuming that he is. And I just think this trade's good karma. Like, you know what, C4? You didn't really have to hold yourself accountable and trade that extra first-round pick to make the trade up last year to get our quarterback realistic, but you did anyways. So what do you need? A 3-4 defensive end? Well, we're going to put a top 5 talent, and it's not, you know, this wasn't overly difficult. Literally what I did was I scouted the best players in the second and third round that were going to be potentially fits. We scouted Emmett Vick here, who looks okay. We also scouted Charles Warwick, 6'6", 274, a little bit undersized, but he did have A tackle, B power move, so I was like, right, I'm a little interested. But luckily, Larry Childress popped right up. He looks incredible. And that's how you do it, baby. That's how you dominate the draft. Best to ever do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves, I mean, he's good. He's not a bona fide sub, but for the range that he was, second, third round projection, 76 hidden dev. At the position, we're going to make him a, I think, right defensive end. Might shift his rating slightly, but I also am not prepared. He goes up 1. Let's go. My sacrifice. Man, is there anything better than Creed? Sometimes Creed comes up on the shuffle. Goddamn, baby. All right, we're midway point here. Year number 4, sitting atop the NFC East with a 7-2 record. As you can see, our squad is very overpowered. 92 overall. We should be sitting atop. We beat Dallas in a bitter divisional rivalry where Elam went off 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not gonna lie, that's probably bottom tier of what could qualify for Player of the Week. But I'm not gonna roast him for it. Those leader contracts, $133 million. We have been very smart with our budget, which is gonna allow us to do things like what we're about to see. This is the final negotiation window for this rebuild. I want to retain as many players as I can, and we're going to start with John Michael. We're going to start with the, original players of the draft. Now, Jalen Hyde's a guy just hasn't really had the opportunity here. He's been buried in the old depth charts. So, out of respect to trying to keep the draft class here together with how much money I have, we'll throw him a contract as well to keep him in the building. Darnay Holmes has definitely been serviceable for us. He's playing a little bit of safety for us this season because he's a safety and our nickel. So we're going to give him a 2-year deal, reward that. Plus, I'm just a big fan. What are we doing? Let's actually pay the top tier guys. Dex Lawrence at nose tackle has lost his X factor, regressed quite a bit. It's kind of just what happens. There's only so much stats a 340-pound D tackle can put up to maintain a dev trait in this game. So I'm still impressed with what he's been able to do. We have Bobby Okereke. I think 3 years. I don't really have to worry about his regression rating. You only need him for next year, and he's not going to regress that much. Again, someone like Darren Waller, keep him here for the whole reel. That's reasonable. He's probably going to be the top free agent tight end if we let him walk. I think the same can be said for Adoree Jackson. 1 year, $5 million if he takes that. Not worried about it. So now it's the big 2 contracts. Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. We have all Evan Neal. I'm probably just going to give them both very player-friendly deals and just hope they both get across the line. Very expensive for Thibodeau, you're much more paying for the player than you are for the production. But we'll pay that. Look, we still have $26 million, which whenever the salary cap goes up this upcoming offseason as well, we're going to have enough to maybe make a splash or 2 going into year 5. But hopefully we can get that Super Bowl year 4 so all the pressure is lifted off our shoulders ahead of year 5 and we get to avoid a Super Bowl or bust scenario. I'm killing. All right, we're 11-6. Number 1 offense in the NFL. Top 5 rushing defense. But I think it's probably fair to say after changing our defensive playbooks around, not that much different than where we need to be. But let's take a look at the stats. Thank God Saquon Barkley is just an absolute monster. 4,400 yards is fine. 41 touchdowns is great. We're never going to have probably over 5,000 yards passing just because, or at least consistently over there because of Saquon Barkley and just how much he commands of the touches. But I will definitely take 41 touchdowns. It would be nice to see those interceptions drop down just a little bit. Saquon Barkley is incredible. Him and Josh Jacobs are probably the 2 best sim running backs in Madden 23. And at least we're getting the rub here. It's not like it's just, he's good every other rebuild, but when I'm finally the Giants, he sucks. He's as advertised. averaged 7.3 yards per carry, which is truly disgusting. Kyle Pitts, awesome, is thriving in his change at wide receiver. 91 catches, 1,200 yards, 13 tutties. 1 yard shy. That's brutal. For 1,000 for Wan'Dale Robinson, who's been a great role player. Same with Gabe Davis. And Darren Waller was solid. Defensively, Bobby Okereke, Darnay Holmes, Devin White, all over 100 tackles. And hey, getting that production at Thibodeau. Kind of tossed him under the bus there a little bit, saying, you know, I'm going to pay him all this money. We're paying for the player, not the production. Well, we're paying for production now. 72 tackles, 11 TFLs, 16.5 sacks, 11.5 sacks for Lewis Gray, 8 from Dex Lawrence, 6 from Landry Childress, who popped, just a star dev. He's a good player, and again, guy that's supposed to go second, third round. Not going to complain about that. I mean, we landed him too without a first-round pick. So that's pretty dope. Yearly awards MVP goes to Josh Allen. You have nobody there. Cooper Kupp, Nick Bosa. All right. Landry Childress does win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ooh, that could be a depth trade increase. That'd be cool. Saquon gets Running Back of the Year. We have Kayvon Thibodeau gets Linebacker of the Year. He's already an X Factor, so it's not really like he can go up or down or anything like that. But really happy. Really, really nice numbers across the board for the Sim. And I'm going into this playoff push with some confidence. First stand in our way is a team that has absolutely owned the Giants organization in real life in recent memory, the Philadelphia Eagles, but we're able to avenge that. Win a close one, 2014, going to the divisional round, where I guess we're just running through the NFC East. This time it is us versus Commanders, NFC Championship game on the line, and we are able to punch our ticket, 37-20. Let's keep it rolling here, baby. Super Bowl on the line. What stands between us and a Super Bowl is Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. And it's going to be a battle for New York in the Super Bowl. Giants, Bills. Holy shit, look at that stat line from Josh Allen. But you know what? Looking at the tail of the tape, not too... I mean, they're a good team. 88s across the board. They have number 5 offense, number 1 passing offense, and a top 14 defense. We have the 16th ranked defense. We have the number 1 rushing offense, number 1 overall offense. This should be a close Super Bowl, but again, if we can get this one over the line, takes all of the pressure off of next season. And you know me, man, we're all about stacking successful rebuilds. So let's go get that ring here and try to finish off with 2 when all is said and done. All right, let's go, man. Our defense, our corners sound like they're going to need some Creed going here to motivate them to stop Josh Allen and company. And usually, that's weird. I'll be honest, Josh Allen doesn't usually put up freaky numbers in Madden 23 Sim. I don't know what the winning combination is there, but I will say right now, it is not working. As through the first half, we've given up only a field goal, and we're beating them 3 touchdowns. Oh my God, we got it. We equaled it. Oh my God. Let's go, baby. I mean, we're not over the line yet. This could be a very one-sided second half to kind of break things even. But I mean, luckily, even though our offense is sputtered, we're getting field goals. We got 6 points when we probably, in other Sims, might not have got it. And that could be a deciding factor. We currently got a 10-point lead. We missed a field goal. They make it really close. Really close. Holy. I don't even know how to comprehend that last little Sim. Did they have the football? Did we somehow turn it over and then they... I don't know. I don't know how to decipher what just happened, but what I do know is the confetti is blue, red, and white. The colors of America. It's a good blue, red, and white, not their blue, red, and white. And we got our Super Bowl, baby. And I don't think we don't... I think we don't get this Super Bowl if we don't make the bold trade of 3 first-round picks and moving on from Daniel Jones to go get a guy named Ray Elam, which sounds like, you know, some guy from a HBO Max series, okay? And look at him. That guy is not 24 years old. That guy there looks like Shane Gillis, right? And I love Shane Gillis, probably my favorite comedian. But that's what he looks like. That is not a spry young man. But he's good enough. His ID is believable enough. He is a Super Bowl champion. If we had to give a MVP, screw it, we'll give it to Elam, man. Almost 300 yards, very accurate, no turnovers. That is our Super Bowl, and we got 1 more year to run it back. So how do you fix perfection? Where do we need to go? Looking at my team, this is our team right now going to the final year. Where can we find an addition or subtraction? I'm thinking right now, if we're like nitpicking, because we have a lot of money. I have like $50-some million salary cap. Could bring in maybe a more capable running back too. I think on the defensive side, definitely want to look at safety. We need a new starting strong safety. Childress was a starter, as we saw, but he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, so he's up to a superstar. There's really no other weaknesses to the squad. We bring in a safety that's going to let Adoree Jackson play their corner. I mean, maybe we get like a guy that's maybe more of an outside corner. So we'll say safety and RB2 as well as corner. And that's really all we're looking for. I've yet to take a peek here at free agency. Let's see what we're about to find looking at those needs. First up, we are looking for a running back 2. Some guy with a good set of mitts. Who do we think could come in and do the running back 2 job? I'll tell you right now. Knowing what we got in Saquon Barkley, I kind of like Devin Achane. Guy with 99 speed. 99 speed, dude? Actually, it's not 99. It's 96. But I feel like something like that, that's a perfect committee running back right there. Guy that's going to be gadget type player, fancy type player. What do we got for outside corner? We have Devin Witherspoon. Actually, not a whole lot there. Not enough for me to go like that's better than what we have. We do need a safety. Who's the best safety? We have John Johnson. Ooh, no, it's not good. We might have to look at the draft. Deshaun Elliott, Jordan Whitehead, Terrell Edmonds. I guess all things considered, Jordan Whitehead is a scheme fit. So we'll throw him a bone here. Just obviously not really a great role. I mean, yeah. Is what it is. We'll get both these guys. And honestly, for the draft, you know, we don't have a first rounder. So we'll probably just punt the draft and go with the team that we got. All right, come join me as I, with no scouting, have yet to even really look at this draft class. I'm going to try to find the best available player. I always feel like there's going to be certain people that are like, Seafoot Walk, I'm already tired right now. This guy might be it. John Wallace. How do you pick good players? Well, it's not, you know, it's just, obviously I do this way more. And people that, I assume many of you that watch this, even if you do your own rebuilds, you don't do it with the frequency that I do. I just burn through drafts. I have a lot of practice because of my content. And we were just trying to see what, if you know, what we can pick up on. Might expose myself here as a fraudulent drafter if I can't find actually a good player. But I just want to show you it's not that difficult. Like, I have not scouted any of these guys. I don't know, obviously, who's really good. We're just going to try to go off of letter grades and combines and show you that it's not really that hard once you know what to look for to find good players. I keep going back to those centers. It's easy position. It's not like ooh. Rudy Moore. What do we got here? B catching, A press. Probably the two least important, but if he's a good athlete, which, yeah, he's not bad. He's just on the outskirts, not bad. I feel like if you needed a corner, that he might be solid to go with. I wouldn't gamble on a dev trait. This guy also looks pretty good. Devin Bingham. A power, A tackle, C zone's not brutal. If he's a good athlete, he might be my pick. And he's a pretty solid athlete. Like, he's the kind of guy that might have like 90-some hit power. Let's go with it. There you go. Not that hard. Just cuz one of the center I was leading towards is still available in the 3rd round. Marcus Lindsay, again, not reading a whole much into it. Not as good an athlete as the first center, but still pretty good. Greats, and a lot of the big attributes. B run block, B impact, A awareness. There you go, fellas. It's, you know, just gotta know what to look for. And take a look at our draft recap. Our shot in the dark draft, we still end up with a 73 hidden dev, 74 hidden dev. I simmed out after that. We got a 71. That was the computer. But Devin Bingham, what do we got for hit power? Not as high as I thought, but still pretty good. 85 hit power, 76 pursuit. Nice looking player, for sure. And then we got the 74 center. And we put up our best season to close it out as defending Super Bowl champions. Go 13-4, finish as the 1 seed in the NFC. #1 offense in the NFL. Defense, you know, not the best. Look at Ray Elam, a.k.a. Shane Gillis. 5,300 yards. 55 touchdowns, 55 passes, 55 cheeseburger, 55 pickles, 55 tater tots. Crazy. Killed it. Absolutely killed it. Those are 2 relatable memes. My guy looks like my favorite comedian and threw as many touchdowns as a bit from my favorite joke. Awesome. Not only was he awesome, Saquon was awesome. 2,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 14-6 for Kyle Pitts. Wan'Dale Robinson went off. 1,300 yards, 20 touchdowns. 1,007 for Gabe Davis, 9 and 13 from Darren Waller. Old man Darren Waller. We didn't have to re-sign him, but I gambled, and he is still performing at a high level. Devin White, 149 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 6 picks. Probably the best linebacker in the NFL. 12 sacks, Thibodeau. 12 sacks, Dex Lawrence. 8 from Lewis Grace. 7.5 from Landry Childress. And our team's popping off, man. We are playing with a newfound confidence. And Shane Gillis wins the MVP here. 13-4 record, dominating. And Offensive Player of the Year, easy. Saquon Barkley. Defensive Player of the Year, easy. Devin White. Quarterback, Shane Gillis. Running back, Saquon. Wide receiver, Wandale. Probably should have given John Runyon the lineman, all right? Probably should have. Probably should have done that. Somehow Devin White doesn't get linebacker. Maybe that's come down to the sacks or whatever. I did see a decent amount of Dallas Cowboys there. They had some good... Where are they at? They make the playoffs too, probably. At 11-6. We kick our feet up. Maybe that's who we're going to wait in the divisional round. Come on, fellas. Honest to God, pummel them. Our team is so much better. They're just sim, and there we go. That's what we need. 40, and then... If we win the Super Bowl this year, it's the most deserved Super Bowl you can get in a rebuild of an NFC team because we beat the Cowboys and we'd have to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. But in this shootout here against Dallas, 5 touchdowns for Elam, a.k.a. Shane Gillis, and Dak Prescott does what Dak Prescott does in big games. Suck. Let's just, you know what? At least that's realistic. It's a rebuild, and you get Dak Prescott playing like a realistic guy. It's a rebuild. So now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For them being this good is kind of unrealistic, but they're 90 overall. They got DK Metcalf. So we replenished their wide receiver core. I assume Mike Evans up there in age a little bit. And that one wasn't even particularly close. 35-14. The Giants are headed back to the Super Bowl for the second time in as many years. This time we're taking on Lamar Jackson and the 14-3 Baltimore Ravens. Before we get into that, let's take a look at our career stats here so that whenever this game concludes, we can just wrap the video up. Look at the career stats. Ray Elam, through 3 seasons, 14, we'll round that up, 15,000 yards passing, 135 tutties, 47 picks. Beautiful. We have 13,000 yards rushing, 142 touchdowns for Saquon. Beautiful. 8K and 46 for Kyle Pitts. Obviously splits that, I mean, for almost all these top guys. Wan'Dale Robinson's the only organic player that we got here, and that's respectable. 6 seasons, 6,500 yards, 66 touchdowns. 655 yards, 66 touchdowns, 66 cheeseburgers, 66 fries, 66 tots, 66 wings, 66 burgers, 66... Devin White, we got a Cherokee over 1,000. Yeah, not much, you know, Xavier McKinney in terms of homegrown players, that's the highest tackle, 689 for him. We got 57 sacks, Dex Lawrence, 56 from Kayvon Thibodeau, 34 from Azeez Ojulari. 15 picks, Xavier McKinney. Way down there, 11 for Darnay Holmes. So we've had some great careers. It was a good rebuild. But what makes this a good rebuild to a great rebuild is being able to win 2 Super Bowls back-to-back. Let's go do it. Baltimore, not a juggernaut. You know, I would say they make the Super Bowl just from all the Sims. They're like a not shocking AFC representation. Like, you know, when it's not the Kansas City Chiefs, you need to get a pool of teams. Baltimore can be there. Cincy can be there. I've seen the Chargers there a decent amount, but hey, they're doing the job right now. Only give it up 7. We cut it to 7. Start the second half, but they're going marching right down the field. Come on, fellas. Punch her in here. There we go. Down 7. Down 14. Here's what we got. We're going to come here and just throw a bomb. I want to utilize my quarterback with his 99 throw power. Let me get 1 bomb off. I don't even really know who has our speed, to be honest with you. Jalen Hyatt. There we go. Perfect. Our wide receiver 3, we actually have a play that gets him on the field. We got all sorts of things going against us here, but that's fine. So we're going to drop back. We're going to fire it. And it's going to go to my super fast wide receiver. He's going to get out of bounds, and hopefully this can propel us to pulling within 7. Come on. Get the stop. No. Couldn't do it. Hey, you know what? Good for Lamar. They earned it. That wasn't like there was no cheese going on there. They kind of just were a little bit better than us for most of this game. And there's no shame in that. Finishing our rebuild out. 2 Super Bowl appearances. We do get the 1 Super Bowl win, so this goes down as a successful rebuild within 5 years with the post-2023 NFL Draft New York Giants, which was our goal all along. So I had a short list of teams that I do want to still explore from that 2023 post-draft fallout. Let me know in the comments, who do you guys want to see next? I think the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears. I think those are the 2 big ones. think those are the two big ones left. So let me know in the comments. Out of those two teams, which rebuild do you want to see next? Vikings or Bears? I'm leaning Vikings right now, but obviously when we're getting close to the new Madden 24 game, I like to take a little bit of a break from rebuild so that it's a little bit fresh when we can get back into it with a new game drop. So there's only a couple more of those we are going to do, but obviously we're also going to continue with our retro Jags franchise, and we're going to sprinkle in the 0 to 7 ring rebuilds every now and again. Those just literally take me 3 days to record, so that's usually 3 days without an upload, and that kind of sucks. So yeah, let me know who you want to see next. Like, subscribe, all that cheesy YouTuber stuff, and I'll see you guys back in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, love you. Have a good one.